Red Eye to Hell, by Skylee. The night was dark and stormy as a group of passengers boarded the ill-fated Flight 666. Little did they know, they were about to embark on a journey that would take them straight into the depths of hell. But for now, in their ignorance, they settled into their seats, their minds oblivious to the horrors that awaited them. Among the passengers were a young couple, Jack and Lily, on their way to a romantic getaway. They were joined by a family of 4, the Smiths, and a nervous businessman, Mr. Coleman. Also on board was a priest, Father David, and an ex-convict, Steve, who was on his way to start a new life. As the plane took off and reached its cruising altitude, everything seemed normal. But suddenly, the turbulence became intense and the lights flickered. The passengers looked at each other with unease, wondering what was going on. The captain's voice crackled through the intercom.
"Ladies and gentlemen, we seem to be encountering some technical difficulties. Please remain calm and fasten your seatbelts."
But the situation quickly turned from bad to worse when the plane's engines shut off completely, leaving it stranded in the dark, stormy skies. The passengers could hear the sound of metal tearing apart as the plane started falling towards the ground. Screams and cries filled the cabin, each person gripped by terror. Just when they thought it couldn't get any worse, the plane suddenly jolted, as if being pulled by an invisible force. And then it stopped. In front of them, a bright light appeared, blinding them all. When the light faded, they found themselves no longer in the plane, but in a dark, desolate landscape. Confusion and fear gripped the passengers as they stepped out of the wreckage. But their shock turned to horror as they realized they were surrounded by creatures that defied all logic and reason. Demons with gnarled claws and razor-sharp teeth, hissing snakes with human heads, and other monstrosities that seemed to have been conjured straight from the depths of hell. Father David began praying, hoping to ward off these unholy beings. But his efforts were in vain as the demons lunged towards them, snarling and screeching. The passengers were forced to run for their lives, with the demons hot on their heels. As they ran, they stumbled upon a group of survivors who had also been brought to this hellish landscape. Among them were a group of soldiers, led by the tough and no-nonsense Sergeant Jones, who had been on a mission when their helicopter was attacked by the same mysterious force. They quickly formed a plan to fight off the demons and escape this nightmare. But it wouldn't be easy. The survivors soon discovered that there was a powerful demonic entity that was controlling these creatures, using them as pawns to carry out its twisted desires. The survivors were trapped in its sick game, forced to navigate through treacherous terrain, face unimaginable horrors and fight for their lives. As the group fought their way through hordes of demons and monsters, they also had to battle their own inner demons. Secrets and past traumas were revealed, causing tensions to rise among the group. And in the midst of all this chaos, a love triangle developed between Jack, Lily, and Steve, threatening to tear the group apart even further. But despite all odds, the survivors refused to give up. They fought with all their might, armed with whatever weapons they could find, including improvised Molotov cocktails and even the priest's holy water. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, they reached a large, ominous castle in the center of this hellish landscape. It was the lair of the powerful demon, who taunted and mocked them, relishing in their despair. But the survivors were not going to go down without a fight. With the help of Father David's faith and prayers, they launched a final, desperate attack on the demon, using all their strength and courage. In a climactic battle, they managed to weaken and defeat the demon, and the landscape crumbled around them, revealing the wreckage of the plane they were originally on. The survivors were found by search and rescue teams, miraculously alive, but deeply traumatized by their horrifying ordeal. They all went their separate ways, but none of them ever forgot the horrors they had faced on that flight to hell. And even though they never spoke of it again, whenever they boarded another plane, they couldn't help but shudder, wondering if they would meet their end in the clutches of demons once more.